Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Trails to Hope TV. Today, our guest is Canal, who's going to share a little bit of his experience, strength, and hope with us. Before we get started, Canal, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
San Jose, California.
From San. So you're born and raised in San Jose?
I was raised here. I came here when I was 5 years old, but pretty much raised here. But I was born in Cambodia.
Oh, okay. So you're from Cambodia.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
nice. All right. So just exactly how long have you been on this journey of sobriety?
A little bit over 9 years. I got sober, clean and sober, August 13, 2012.
Nice. All right. So, I guess I'll let you get started. I guess, like the channel works here is you're going to be sharing with us your experience, your strength, and your hope with our viewers.
Okay.
All right.
So, my name's Canal. I'm an alcoholic and an addict, 46 years old. A little bit about my family. We came here in the United States in 1981 from Cambodia. There was a genocide going on that killed about 3 million people. So every Cambodian family that came to the United States during that time was affected by it, and my family was no different. We had uncles and cousins that were killed during the massacre, the genocide, and so we came here in 1981.
So how old were you then?
1981. So when I got here, I was 6 years old. I was born in 1975, May 5th. We stayed at the off of King Road, next to Powell Stadium, Virginia Apartments. There was 9 of us. 9 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, so it was very crowded. When we got here, we thank God for all the services that the county provided. We were on food stamps for a while, and all the other stuff. A little bit about my childhood. I knew I was different. I felt it. Internally, trying to please people. I was always, trying to please people, being a peacemaker, and the book of Alcoholics Anonymous talks about that being a spiritual malady where there's a void in ourselves, and where we try to fill this void with alcohol, drugs, sex, whatnot. So, anyways, as a young kid, I was instead of doing homework and going to work like my cousin, brother, and sister and doing sports, I was out with the guys and doing boy stuff. So I became a delinquent, very quickly. At the age of 15 and a half, I became a ward of the court. So I was placed in group homes. Everything I did had consequences. I was always at the juvenile hall, the boys ranch, and group homes, such and so forth. I never finish school. I got my GED at the Boys Ranch, James Boys Ranch. Fast forward, I got a job at Safeway, in 1998, and I excelled at it from being a bagger to a checker real quickly. Then I started closing the stores, and then they saw some potential in me, management, and I was a second assistant. I got promoted to a second assistant, got out of the union, and I started closing the stores. At this time, I started my drinking and using started taking off. I managed to go up to the ranks of first assistant store manager. I went to a retail leadership development course for about 6 months. So this is where.
So you're still drinking and using during this time?
Yes, especially I was drinking a lot at work. Usually on my lunches I slam like 2 tall cans, and then during this time I was using other substances. I did drugs alcoholically.
So you were functioning?
Yeah,
You were
at this
functioning.
time I was functioning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, you know,
Right,
but like the book says, got progressively worse, and it got really bad. You know, back then it was crank, you know, it was in meth, and what I loved about it was it allowed me to drink more all night, you know, and the other stuff it allowed me to do. But like, you know, it just got bad, right? And because I was non-union, you know, I did a no call, no show. And then, you know, the eyes don't lie. Management, people knew, you know, you haven't slept and you're high or something like that. So
How about coworkers? Were you drinking or using with coworkers? Or?
yes, there was a couple guys that we drank during our lunches. One of them was an alcoholic for sure. He admitted it. So, yeah, it was one guy that we drank all the time together, you know, and but yeah, my management pulled me inside. HR and district manager pulled me inside. They said, "Looks like you have some issues with your drinking and using, you know, and would you like substance abuse?" At this time, I was a little, you know, fearful about losing my job. I didn't know that, you know, I wouldn't have lost my job. They were offered help, but a lot of my pride and ego said, "No, I got this," you know, and. Needless to say, a couple weeks later, I did a no call, no show because, you know, when I did drugs and when I drank and did drugs, you know, when I was late, it was never 5-10 minutes, always a couple hours, you know. And then I did a no call, no show. And then district manager and HR came in. They took my keys, my management keys, my assistant store manager silver name badge, walked me to my car. HR did.
But prior to,
yeah.
prior to them taking your keys, and they had knowledge of your problem, and they actually offered you some help.
They offered me some help. They took me into the room, the management room. It was my district manager and HR rep. They asked me if I wanted some substance abuse problem. And at that time, when looking back at it, I really thought I was going to lose my job, you know, and pride and ego got the best of me. I said, "No, I got this, you know, I don't have a problem." So they did offer me, which, you know, any company that values.
So you denied?
I denied help.
You denied How about the using drugs and drinking? Did you deny using or drinking, or you just denied the help?
I denied the help. Yeah,
Okay, so
they knew.
Okay,
You
so
know,
they knew. Yeah. Okay.
You know when somebody's under the influence or smell like it, especially at the cash register, you know. So they walked me to my car, and you know, my disease, you know, tells me, you know, well, great, you don't have to work. You know, you have some 401k, you have some money in the bank, you're gonna get unemployment, you're gonna get food stamps and all
And
this.
how long had you been with the corporation before this time?
Oh, with Safeway, almost 9 years.
Wow.
So I've been there for a while, you know, some time, right? And at this point, you know, I'm like, you know, a lot of what ifs, right? Like if my disease didn't take off, I would have had my own store, because I was like one step away from having my own store in District 6, you know. But that's not how it is for my store, you know. Fucking alcohol and drugs.
So I'm assuming,
Yes.
I'm assuming not only did you lose your job, but you must have, after 9 years, I'm assuming you must have had your own place, some, you know, car. Were you in a relationship at that time? Or?
Yes, I was in a relationship. I had a car. At that time it was brand new, 2000 Lexus ES300, and that was a nice accomplishment for me. It ended up getting repoed, but and I lived with a couple of friends. You know, it was like a bachelor's pads, and but I was on my own, you know, and I had a good at that time, you know, a good 401k. You know, I had, I think, about 14 grand in it, and
So
you
had a little cushion there.
I had a little cushion and some money in the bank account. You know, not much, but it was, you know, probably like 5,000 savings, something like that.
But I'm assuming that went pretty quick.
That went really quick. After they walked me in my car, I just went on this run. It was like almost 10 years, it felt, because it just got so bad. But it ended up being like 5.5 years.
Reality wasn't a comfortable place for you at that time.
No.
Got it.
But yeah, my disease it just took off. You know, I did a lot of stuff that we all do in drugs. In drinking and drugging. You know, I committed a lot of crimes. I freaking party with prostitutes. I fucking did a lot of stuff in our disease, you know, especially when you deal with meth and thing, you know, it's a different lifestyle. And, you know, I could, you know, I'm not ashamed of it, you know, that was my story.
So it was both. It was both alcohol and drugs.
Yes.
They went side by side with each other.
Side by side, you know, but for me, it always, you know, I'm a true alcoholic. It started with alcohol and it ended with alcohol, and the drugs I just did in between. But when I wake up, you know, I need, if it was alcohol or dope, it was alcohol that I looked for first. You know?
Okay.
And it was more cheaper, right? So I just had to get a couple of fucking dollars just to get a fucking 40 ounce to calm my nerves, usually, you know. And yeah, but I'm a true alcoholic, and I didn't know that until I got to the program that you know, that I have a physical allergy and a mental obsession, you know, also the spiritual malady that it talks about.
So after you lost your job after 9 years, how long were you out there before? Because I mean, of course you're sober today, so at some point you must something drastically happened in your life to where you said,
yeah,
enough.
Yeah, so when I got 1998, so when they walked me out, Safeway walked me out, it was January of 2007. And when I finally surrendered and got into the rooms of recovery, it was August 13th of 2012. So I was out for a little bit over 5.5 years. And out, when I mean out, I was out. I mean, when I tell you what, when I finally surrendered, I lost everything. You know, I got 2 DUIs. I was on Prop 36 for the drug offenses. I should have been caught more.
Okay, so you were picking up charges. You were
picking up charges, yes.
Got some DUIs. You got a possession? Or?
I got possession and under the influence, paraphernalia, all that.
And they granted you Prop 36?
I took Prop 36.
Okay.
Yep.
At that point, did you take advantage of the program and got sober then, or did you?
No, because what happened was I tried the outpatient, and that didn't work because I was staying in a drug house. So I can't do recovery. I can't go to outpatient, especially as outpatient. I can't go to outpatient program when I'm staying in a dope house.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, you know, I relapsed. It wasn't an honest program.
Yeah.
So I go on a run until I had a bench warrant out for my arrest.
Okay, so you were giving you I know a little bit about Prop 36. They were testing you.
Yeah.
And then you have to go for reviews to your judge, your sentencing judge.
Yeah.
And so you were giving dirty bottles, so you didn't show up to the reviews.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. Then I got kicked out of the. It's off of. I forgot the place. It's off of Stockton and thing. Anyways, that's where my intensive outpatient was. I tried it, and for me, it didn't work, but. Primarily because I was staying in a dope house in the garage, right? So I can't. And when you stay in a dope house, there's gonna be alcohol, drugs, and every day, you know.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stay clean, so I couldn't stay focused, you know.
Right.
But I wasn't done, and that's basically the bottom line. I wasn't done.
Okay, so what happened then? You went on the run.
Went on a run, and you know, at this time, you know.
And you're a fugitive, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Fugitive, and
Basically.
you're involved in your lifestyle of using and drinking.
Yes.
And things are not getting better; they're just getting worse.
Yes, things got worse. At this time, you know, obviously I went through all my financials. Went through, you know, at this time I was selling food stamps, half for cash. Went through GA, EDD, all that. Like I said, 2 DUIs, you know, no car. At this time, I either walked, took the bus, or had my skateboard.
How about your relationship?
You know, I didn't have a ride or die girl with me in my disease. It was just mainly, you know, girls that are in the circle, right? Usually they get tossed around, and you know, I'm not ashamed. I saw fucking prostitutes that were in their addiction, you know, just like the lifestyle. I fucking partied in the motel rooms, you know, and we fucking called girls over and we did our thing, and you know, it's just part of the lifestyle that I don't miss.
Goes with the territory.
Goes with the territory.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So then now here we are. So now what happens at this point? Somewhere after that, something must have happened. Did the law finally catch up to you?
Yeah. What happened was actually before that, the house that I was at, it got raided, and we're all handcuffed on King. This house is on King and Ocala right there, and I remember being handcuffed to all of us, like 10 of us, 12 of us, handcuffed to right there early morning, right 8:30 in the morning, and if you know King Road, it's only two roads,
Yeah,
two lanes.
I actually know that area real well. I'm wondering if I know the house real.
You might have.
But how? Okay, so you're a fugitive at this point.
Yeah.
From not reporting and not going to your reviews.
Yeah.
So how long had you been on the run from that?
You know what? I didn't know that I had a warrant, because I didn't know until when I called and they say, yeah, you have a bench warrant for failure to appear. So it was FTA, they call it, failure to appear.
And that's from failure to appear to your review.
Yeah, to review it. Yeah, because when you fail, then they have to let the court know, hey, this guy failed. So you basically they put a bench warrant for you. It's different, right? A bench warrant and an arrest warrant is different. So anybody that comes in contact with you, they could take you in. But it's not where it's like they'll go to your house, with fucking SWAT or anything like that. So there's a difference between a bench warrant and an arrest warrant. So anyways, we got raided and on the thing handcuffed, and I had, I had some stuff on me. They made me break it. They were actually looking for another guy that was staying at that dope house. He wasn't there, but he was moving a lot of stuff and he was stealing a lot of cars, moving guns and drugs, and he wasn't there, but he was.
So he was their target.
He was their target.
He was their target.
So they didn't take me in, but they made me, actually took the bag away from me, and
they knew you had the warrant.
They didn't run my name. That's the thing. Yeah. So they let me go, but what ended up happening is. No, at this point, I didn't know I had the warrant until I called after, right? It was like probably a couple weeks after when I called and they said, yeah, you have the FTA, for failure to appear. And then anything happening is I fucking turned myself in. Yeah, I got done.
So you turned yourself in. You just were. You were just tired.
Yeah, I was tired. I had nowhere to go because at this time I was staying in garages, the dope house, and I was also sleeping in the creeks.
Yeah, I know that life.
Yeah, so you know what? I said, okay, I'll turn myself in. And
you did a walk-in turn-in, or
my walk-in turn-in. It was
so
late at night.
County jail?
Yeah, my cousin took me up. I was fucking drinking all the way to the fucking till he dropped me off. Turned myself in. I went to court, and that's when I got on the Prop 36, and then I got released on OR, your own reconnaissance, and
and then you another shot now.
Yeah, basically, and then I think a couple weeks later, when I knew I was at my bottom,
Were you still at the drug house, or?
I was bouncing around from there and things, so I was still using.
Okay, so
but what happened? I knew I had to get in a rehab, right? So I started calling Gateway, and then I started calling for Horizon South. And it took about almost 2 days to get my bed, because you have to call every hour to see if you have
Horizon South. That's what, Detox.
Detox, okay. Right off of it's not there no more. Off Bascom, right across from Valley Med. And that's where my journey started, August 13, 2012. Yeah, I was there for 10 days.
So you went to Detox at Horizon South,
yes.
and then they endorsed you to a program, or did they?
Yeah, well, after I went to 30 days, they have a 30 days there, but I ended up going to Pathways.
It's a good program.
It is a good program, and at that time I was thinking, ooh, co-ed, okay, I get to see girls. Right. So that's, I'm not thinking, the best for me at that moment.
Rather than promotion.
Yes, I was thinking, co-ed, and I hear a lot of stuff about co-ed. Yeah. But anyways, Anyways, it wasn't until Pathways until I actually started listening to the message of Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, and
You were there 30 days?
yes, 30
Yeah,
days.
that's a 12-step oriented program. I mean, they promote the 12 steps there.
Yes,
right?
they promote the 12 steps.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's what that was that's where you started to jump on board.
Yes, because when I was at detox, I was there for 10 days. You know, I was still
After detox, you were able to get your mind clear.
exactly. But
You were
within
able
that
to-
first 10 days, I was still addictive behavior, right? I was still smoking outside my doors when I wasn't. I still went to 7-Eleven to buy cigarette when I wasn't.
Basically,
So,
you had just put the plug in the jug.
yeah, basically right there,
Yeah.
you know, August 13, 2012. That's my sobriety date. And
Right on, right
but
on.
you know, 10 days to
Congratulations.
thank you. 10 days, you know, to clear up the head, and then it wasn't until when I went to Pathways, and thank God for hospitals and institutions.
So
that-
just one day at a
brought-
time, you just didn't take nothing, didn't drink nothing,
Yes.
and just did what was in front of you. And I'm assuming you followed suggestion.
Yes, I followed suggestions. I mean, you know, after the 30 days, I went into the SLE, sober living environment, for 6 months, and you know, a lot of stuff started happening for me. Then, you know, I got a job at Tesla. I'm still there today.
How long ago was that?
I got a job at Tesla in November 2012. So
Nice.
right after Pathways, I got into SLE.
And you're still there.
And I'm still there today.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank
Good for
you. And you know, I finished my 18-month DUI classes, took care of that, got my license, and got a car. After the SLE, moved to a room I was renting, and you know, things started. You know, like I said, you know, promises start coming true really quickly.
Right. So you got your life back.
Yeah,
You got
basically.
your life back. And what are you doing now to, you know, aside from work? Of course, work is always a good thing. But aside from work, what are you doing to maintain your lifestyle that you're living, your sobriety?
You know, I'm an active member of Alcoholics Anonymous. So when I say active, means I go to meetings. I have a sponsor. I work the 12 steps. I'm in the men's 12-step workshop. I sponsor guys. I'm working with 2 guys right now, and I'm in service at a couple of different fellowships. You know, and that's the big thing. You know, because I was dry for a while. You know, I was dry for about 5 years. You know, dry drunk. Didn't have a sponsor. Sponsored myself. Didn't do the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know. But that's different now, and it, you know, it truly is when they say, you know, I can't do this by myself, you know, and you know, that's all I do. You know, I have a God of my understanding who I have a higher power.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
So you have incorporated a higher power into
Yes.
your recovery?
Yes, and I didn't get contact with him, with, you know, my higher power, I choose to call God, until when I actually did the steps and read the book, you know, and now I have that power. You know, I admit I don't meditate and pray as much as I used to, you know, or as much as I should.
But you maintain a conscious contact.
Yes, with him.
Got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important.
Yes.
That's important. So man, I got to tell you, Canal, that's quite a journey, man. It's
Yeah.
quite a journey, and you know, I want to commend you and congratulate you on you know, just having the courage, man. You know, because I myself have lived that life. I you know, when you say just the words "on the run,"
Yeah.
I know what "on the run" is all about. I mean, I've had prior to myself getting clean and sober, I've had a court date for as long as I can remember, and I've been peeing in somebody's bottle for as long as I can remember, and I've always failed, and so I know what that on the run, and I always thought it was a good idea to turn myself in, but I just never did have the courage to do it,
Yeah.
and you know, I wish I would have. I could have, you know, saved myself a lot, maybe saved myself a lot of despair, but yeah, I want to commend you on your courage to do that.
Yeah.
Because it seemed to have paid off for you,
Yeah.
and it was a good decision for you. And yeah. Well, shoot, I want to thank you, man, for this interview.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for this interview, and you know, like you know that I have a YouTube channel, and it's okay. I upload
Yes,
this to my channel?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you have anything, last things to say, maybe to the viewer, maybe to somebody out there who's struggling and thinking about how they could get out of the lifestyle. You have any suggestions?
Yeah, there's a lot of programs and there's a lot of services out here for people like us, whether you're an alcoholic or a dope fiend or both. It takes courage, right, to know to ask for help, and by asking for help, that's the first thing. Well, the first thing is you gotta admit that you have a problem, right? Only we can't pronounce you alcoholic or addict. You have to pronounce yourself. You have to do that yourself.
You have to say that's it. You have to come to a bottom.
Yeah,
you don't call it a bottom for nothing. But yeah.
So, and just reach out. I can tell you that. I thought recovery is gonna be boring. I thought all I had to do was go to meetings, but we do a lot of stuff, man. I mean, some of the friendships
You mind if I ask where do you attend meetings at?
At Serenity First Fellowship on South First Street. I'm also one of my other home groups is Alano Cup of Coffee. I go there. I go to
that's on Fair Avenue.
Fair
Avenue,
Avenue,
for
yep.
those of you who don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good place.
Yes.
And Serenity First is also a really good place.
Yes.
So, okay, well, once again, Canal, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you again for your interview.
You're welcome.
And yeah, maybe time to come, we can do an update.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. All right, Canal. Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Right.